The subquantum board proves that poetry does not have to remain fixed after it is written. A verse can become an instrument, multiple layers, hundreds of bars per layer, separate writings, shared cadence, shared breath placement, shared rhythmic architecture. Each layer carries its own language, but all of them obey the same invisible frame, allowing the listener to move between them without breaking the flow. This is the magic of layered poetry, identity without sameness. The rhyme changes, but the body of the verse remains intact. Meaning rotates, pressure shifts, images replace one another. Yet the timing holds. The listener feels continuity and surprise at the same time, which may be part of the neurochemical pull. The brain recognizes the pattern, then receives novelty inside it. Prediction and disruption begin working together. That is why the operator experience feels different from passive listening. The hand on the board becomes part of the poem. Switching layers creates agency. Selecting beats changes emotional weather. The listener is not outside the work anymore. They are inside its decision field. Poet laureate Infinity opened this doorway in hip-hop culture by showing that a verse could exist as parallel compositions, sharing one rhythmic skeleton. The subquantum board extends that idea into a larger poetic architecture, not a remix after the fact, but a work designed from inception to be navigated. This matters beyond spectacle. Hip-hop has always treated language as motion, memory, competition, invention, survival, and technology of the mind. Layered poetry adds another dimension. Interactive authorship without removing the author. The writer builds the world. The listener chooses the route. In that exchange, poetry becomes alive in a new way. Not because the words are unfinished, but because the finished work contains multiple valid paths through itself. What the board seems to trigger is a strange collision of pattern recognition, agency, prediction, surprise, and authorship. The listener, operator, knows the verse is structured. They can feel the rhyme skeleton holding steady. But when they move a fader and the words change while the cadence remains intact, the brain receives two messages at once. I know where this is going. And I did not know it could become that. That combination is powerful. Familiarity stabilizes the nervous system. Novelty spikes attention. The brain predicts the next rhythmic landing, then gets rewarded when the new layer still lands correctly. That can create a dopamine-like pleasure loop. Anticipation, switch, surprise, confirmation. It also creates an unusually strong sense of agency. The listener is not only receiving the poem, they are altering its surface in real time. That changes the relationship between the body and the work. The hand moves, the layer changes, the rhyme obeys. Cause and effect become immediate. The operator starts feeling like they are not just listening to the intelligence behind the verse, but touching it. That is where the ESP-like sensation may arise. Not because information is being transmitted supernaturally, but because the board creates the feeling of mind-to-mind contact through structure. The writer's hidden architecture becomes physically navigable. The operator senses decisions that were made before they arrived, yet those decisions respond as if alive when touched. It feels like discovering thoughts inside thoughts. A normal verse is linear. You follow it from start to finish. The subquantum board is different. It lets the listener perceive multiple lyrical possibilities, occupying the same rhythmic location. That can feel almost impossible to the brain because speech is usually experienced as one utterance at a time. Here, the operator senses parallel speech without losing the main pulse. That produces a mild reality-bending effect. The listener begins to feel that the verse knows where it is going, no matter which route they choose. The cadence becomes a constant. The words become variable. The mind starts mapping hidden relationships between layers. When the switches land cleanly, it can feel as though meaning is being predicted before it appears. That is the neurochemical magic, control plus mystery. Too much control becomes boring. Too much mystery becomes chaos. But layered poetry sits in the sweet spot between them. The operator controls the pathway, while the deeper architecture remains beyond full immediate comprehension. That balance keeps attention locked. In hip-hop terms, this is evolutionary because it extends the MC's relationship with the listener. The MC is no longer only performing skill. The MC has built a lyrical instrument that lets the listener experience skill from the inside. The rhyme is not merely heard, it is handled. And when language can be handled like that, poetry stops behaving like a finished object and starts behaving like a living cognitive environment.